YouTube does not push my videos or pretty much anybody's, even if you're subscribed and hit the bell notification. You actually have to go to my channel manually yourself to find the videos and watch them. So if you like what you're seeing here, the information that I provide, the philosophical essays, the cerebral content, the book reviews, etc., you're going to have to manually go to my YouTube channel and find the videos. I post new videos every day, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the video essays in particular. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day something or other until I'm a YouTube millionaire. You'll see the day when I post it. I hope you're all having a great day today. It is Sunday, and I was thinking a little bit on idolatry. So, one of my biggest, in fact, the biggest problem that I have with the Catholic faith, it's really the only problem I have, because I think, in my personal opinion, Catholicism is the closest to the truth out of any of the different religions that you can follow. And if you're going to follow a religion as opposed to simply following Jesus, because that's really the ideal. Follow Jesus as opposed to any particular religion that's going to put you into a box. But of all of them out there, my personal opinion is that Catholicism is the closest to the truth. However, they still fall victim to idolatry very, very badly. That is their biggest problem, by far. I do not like the idea that there is a pope. I think it's silly. That there has to be some go-between between you and Jesus. Jesus is the go-between between us and the Father, but we don't need a go-between between us and Jesus. Now, connected to this is the perspective on Mary, all right? There are many Catholics out there that damn near deify Mary. They put her on essentially the same level as Jesus, and that she's a co-savior. Never says that anywhere in the Bible, and it's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. Mary is somebody that we should honor, love, and respect. Absolutely. She is awesome, all right? Great, great person that so many of us can try to emulate as best we can. My personal favorite saint is Saint Michael the Archangel. He's my favorite saint. So I try to emulate him as best as I can. But many a woman tries to emulate Mary because she's their favorite saint. However, she is not on the same level as Jesus. She's not. She's just not. Period. But she is somebody important and to be loved and respected. Absolutely. As all the saints should be. Because they did amazing things, very important things for Jesus' kingdom. Absolutely. I think that this is connected to the John Nash equilibrium theorem. And it may very well have been something that, the term I'm looking for is, informed his development of said theorem. The thing that got him the Nobel Prize in economics is that basically the way he was saying is you go for what you want proximate, not for the main thing. So he imagined three beautiful women in a group together. One is a 10, and the other two are like 8s or 9s, right? Very attractive as well, but not the 10. There's three guys that are paying attention to this group of women, all of whom could get with them if they tried. But if they all go for the 10, none of them will get them. None of them will get the 10, because the other two will feel jolted, or jilted is the right term, for them having gone for the most beautiful woman in that group. And that woman won't want any one of the three because she loves her friends and doesn't want to disrespect them by doing that. However, If they go for the 2 8s or 9s on the side and leave the 10 by themselves and don't even look at them, then everybody wins. It's the John Nash equilibrium theorem. That's the basic idea behind it, okay? You left the 10 all high and dry. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't. They did nothing wrong. But because you were too afraid, there's fear there, and disorganized to go for the 10 properly, she was left by herself. Okay? There are many instances of this in life, and this is all connected to idolatry. All of it. We damn near, as human beings, as part of our genetics, deify certain human beings in mainstream media, Hollywood, and all that stuff, and look more towards the form as opposed to what they are saying, the person as opposed to the truths of that they're espousing. Okay? This is why you could see somebody like President Trump, who many people on the right will look at him and see his flaws and see the things that he's trying to do that are good and say, okay, he's a net positive, so we're going to go with him because even though he's a bombastic Hollywood star, he's the most vetted president in human history, in the history of the United States anyway. And that's part of the paradox, because he was an idol before he became president. It is a paradox, but it was the only way you could thread that needle to get something positive in there. Thankfully, he's a decent person. He's not perfect, none of us is, but he's a decent person. All right, the only perfect person is Jesus. So with that being said, the right can look at his flaws and say, yep, you screwed that up, and then look at his positives and say, good job, and see that he is a net positive. But the left simply looks at the fact that he is an idol to be smashed, which is ironic, because normally they look at idols to worship, the golden calves of the Bible. But because that idol was not the idol that the deep state wanted, not the idol that the occult wanted to fulfill their agenda, they're made to be susceptible to the suggestion of idolatry, and they're told through legacy media sources that they need to despise the man. Now, like I said, he's doing tremendous good. And even though he's the most vetted president in United States history, there's always the potential that you're going to find something that's horrible that he did in his past. Maybe there's something in the e-files. I don't know. I don't think there is, but what have you? It could be anything like that. And that's another paradox here. You dangle the carrot in front, and we have to react to it. We have to make the decision. That's part of the forces we're dealing with are parasites. They're garbage. They will not let us go as a human species. They will not. If you could see what I could see, and some of you can, then you'd realize just how deep and disgusting this is. But they make every decision that we have to make as painful as possible, so that on one side you have arguments for it, and on the other side you have arguments for it, and you're right in the middle, and the way you react is the most important thing. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, double slit experiment, Schrodinger's cat. So whether you open up the box and show the cat is a decision that you have to make. And whether it's alive or dead is based upon the reaction that you have. So, in order to pierce the veil of this idolatry, it requires us to be on that knife's edge, to thread that needle. It's not fun. especially when you have to do it for ages and ages and ages. You know, it's difficult enough to make one decision in that light, but to have to do it repeatedly is exhausting. Utterly exhausting, even for the strongest of us. And this is because we are so swooned by idols. So, the very base of this is that you must believe. If you don't believe, then I can't explain any of this to you. I can't get you out of the mess if you don't even believe you're in a mess to begin with. See what I'm saying? You have to be shown and convinced that you're in a prison in order to be able to break out of said prison, is what that comes down to. And idolatry is its own form of a prison. So, yeah. That's what's going through my mind today, guys. Take it for what you will. I'm not a false idol either, don't get me wrong. Just some random guy on the internet. But I do have a mind to spare. So, hope you enjoy. Love y'all. Peace.